welcome to another random battle replay cast. And yeah, you might wonder why I so frequently release videos this week. Just because I have some free time. So I try to provide as much content as possible till the weekend. Also, clan battles and so on are in the tube more or less. So expect something in the next days. Yeah, I got this replay from Dabsch from the Gold Clan, and he's playing the tier 9 battleship, the Bart, or premium battleship, maybe you should add that. And he's in division with two other premium ships, the Azuma and Kronstadt. But it's not about the premium ships in general, this video. No, it's more or less how to to hold a flank or win a flank when constantly focused by, as you see, two enemy carriers. And one thing the Bart has going for it is that it has really strong AA, maybe even one of the best AA suits in the whole game. And that is, of course, very helpful in such situations. But I don't want to spoil too much. It's gonna be an intense game, that's for sure. There will be planes everywhere. The AA guns will fire all the time, and besides, they do their best to hold that flank. So they decide to go towards the A cap. Dabsch is a bit late here in the game, but no big problem because it doesn't. In a battleship, you can always wait like let's say half 30 seconds, and then you orientate where especially in the carrier game, you get really early spottings. You orientate where to go, especially if you see, for example, that the friendly Republic is leaving A. Then it's of course helpful if some cruiser destroyer is still here in this area, that you are going to back him up. That is really important. You never want to give up a flank intentionally. Of course, going alone there is literally suicide in a 2 CV game, but since they are in a division, the Azuma is pretty okay AA. Kronstadt not so much. But if they can like stick together in kind of an area, then it might work and will let the enemy carriers suffer. Alright, so opening salvo on an Azuma, 21 or 23 kilometers away. The range on the Bart is pretty huge. I think it's 24.5, yeah, there it says. And yeah, that's I mean, the penetration on the guns, don't get me wrong, is sufficient. So if you hit there, you can definitely penetrate cruisers on this range. Battleships, not so much. You have still 380mm guns. And for all those who don't know the Bart is basically a Richelieu. That's the tech tree ship on tier 8, but equipped with a reload booster. And definitely more AA. So the reload booster comes in handy if you want to set fires, because you can't overmatch a bow, for example, from American heavy cruisers, like, for example, Buffalo, Des Moines, Baltimore. So then you have to switch to HE, for example, or battleships that are nose in. Sometimes it's more recommended to use the HE. If you know the damage count, you just push your reload booster button, and then you can maybe set another fire. I'm not so sure about the usage of this reload booster, but you have 5 of them, so one misuse doesn't matter too much. Whoever this carrier was, I think it was the Lexington, he does not have torpedo acceleration, which allows Dabsch here to easily avoid the drop. And yeah. You see they're making their way slowly and steadily towards the A cap. 3 of them. The Azuma is going more in a kiting position, which does fit it more. Kronstadt and himself can sit bow on. Normally I don't recommend to play it bow on in the Bart, because you are, since it's a French battleship, you're covered in 32mm except for the armor belt, and yeah, the superstructure is even less. So armor belts, turrets, everything else is covered in 32mm armor, which is easily penetratable by 203mm HE shells and above, and on top I have HE of 150 mil shells. Yeah, shells. Shells was the word. Kronstadt is radaring. The Neptune is smart enough to hide behind the island, so he took already countermeasures. Ate some damage, but not so devastating as it could have been if he wouldn't have done that. So first of all, I think Dabsch is trying to go in this area. You want to be on the flank, and you don't want to get shot at from this area, so you want to be a bit more here, so you can angle in towards this area. Maybe also ram yourself in front of the island if necessary. Even though I wouldn't say that this is recommended in the carrier game, because a smart carrier is using the terrain to its advantage. Means if you sit behind an island, you can fly towards you or close the distance without your AA shooting at him, and that reduces doesn't reduce his HP on the planes, so you will have a hard time to shoot down any planes. So don't hug islands too close like you could do it before, because AA didn't care about the line of sight. That's not going to happen anymore. Alright, so he's relieving his Kronstadt buddy a bit, who was under pressure, and yeah, together they are pushing up, and now the Iowa also pushed up, which is of course problematic, especially for the Kronstadt. You don't want to, I mean, the Kronstadt is played very often stationary bow on, but many people misjudge it, or misjudge the playstyle, because it only has 25mm of bow armor, not like a Moskva or a Stalin, who have these lower bow armor plating of 50mm, where they are not overmatchable. The Kronstadt, on the other hand, is, and can eat citadels through the front. That's rare, but at least he can get damaged pretty heavily. So what he did, what Dabsch did here, is exactly what I meant. This Iowa is sitting bow on, so no point of shooting AP at him. Use your reload booster and inflict damage by HE and maybe set fires, because the HE of the Bart is also very potent, never forget that. Or in the French battleships in general. Alright, and you see how many planes are coming in here. Look at the counter, just at the counter, 20 so far. This is quite a lot, and we have a tier 8 and a tier 10 carrier. So Azuma there gives a bit too much broadside, gets punished heavily for 24k, which is, yeah, well, you shouldn't do that in Azuma. Azuma can be overmatched pretty easily, and especially from the Bart as well, because it has only 25mm of bow armor, and yeah, on the broadside anyways, that doesn't matter. I wouldn't shoot that Bourgogne, he's too angled, but okay. If you have nothing else to shoot, then it's fine. And the Kronstadt here under heavy attack, and again, planes coming in and attack after attack. It's just like, it looks as if it's a feeling like, or a situation the group of the Yamato and the Operation 10 Go suffered, like constant air attacks. Yeah. But now they grouped up, so we have an Azuma, we have the Kronstadt, and we have Dabsch in his Bart. This is of course a lot of AA, and I don't exactly know why the enemy CVs are just pushing in here. I mean, the Midway is smart enough to pull away its planes immediately after he dropped, which reduces the losses that he will suffer from. And then we have this Azuma, who realized that he brought himself in a really bad position. He literally overextended, and now he sits bow on. And as I said, bow on Azuma doesn't deal very well with battleship AP. And yeah, Lexington coming in, losing all of his planes again. This is just just devastating to everyone, to the to the group here, to the division of Dabsch, and on top also for the carriers. I don't know how many planes they lost there in the end, but we will see it in the result screen. It's, I think, pretty massive. It's just a game of attrition here, more or less. Dabsch tries, of course, to tank as much as possible. Really important. As the battleship. And as I said, bow on is normally not the most recommended playstyle. I like to play the Jean Bart flexible. The issue with that is that you have, or if you have 2 carrier games, you can't do like go on a solo trip or something like that, or occupy places that you would like to be in if playing without CB. Alright, Azuma is going down, and you saw these rocket planes. They inflicted so much damage because I think that were midway rocket planes. They have the Tiny Tim configuration. They penetrate 32 millimeters of armor easily and can definitely hurt a lot, especially French battleships or British battleships, and of course cruisers. Alright, so long range volley on the Azuma misses, and now he's doing something really smart. I mean, his Azuma also overextended. He should have stayed maybe angled away and not committed himself in, but maybe he went there to provide some extra A cover. The issue is now he sits bow on to the Iowa, and Dabsch is coming in to help out to block shots from the Iowa towards the Azuma. So if the Azuma is smart, he hides exactly behind Dabsch, so the Iowa can't shoot him. Let's see if he's able to. Nah, he's too far away, so he's dead. He should have got close the distance, yes, and there he goes down. Also, what Dabsch tried here was probably to knock out the guns of the Iowa, which is easily doable on these ranges, and yeah, would have maybe saved his buddy's ship, but sadly that didn't happen. And yeah, guess what? More planes incoming. So far he sits at 140,000 damage, 43 plane kills. I don't know how many the Azuma and the Kronstadt have, but probably also some, yeah, or a fair amount of. But they secured this A cap here by pushing the enemy away and or killing the ships. Still, the carriers see their only opportunity here. I wonder why, since there's a lonely Yamato over here, and yeah, the DD is also a good choice to go for. Of course, he's in Alaska, but even, I mean, this is easier to target than probably this, in my opinion. On the other hand, you could argue, yeah, well, they lost a lot of AA mounts. In this regard, yeah, maybe also worth to go for it. And also the Kronstadt and Jean Bart are pretty low, while the Alaska and Haruguma aren't yet. So that's of course an argument to go for, yeah, Dabsch's division. He kills or finishes off the Bourgogne. And yeah, guess what? More planes incoming. I mean, in this situation you always feel like, oh, look, there's a midway. Time for revenge. But before that, there's still an Azuma. So who goes too close. Again, he overextended. You wanna play the range game. Doesn't get killed, Haruguma gets the kill, doesn't matter. Yeah. And now he's really running low on HP at the moment. 48 planes, still counting. AA all over the place. And yeah. So what he needs to do or wants to do, and everybody would agree on that, is punish these carriers for the suffering they had to go through the whole game so far. So that's a lot of broadside, that's a lot of... I don't know what the carriers did, they actually also went too close. I mean, of course, closing the distance is a good thing in a carrier if you can play safe, because the times when your squadrons return and are in distance of the enemy is of course closer, and in this regard you can strike more often. that's not a bad thing in general, but I think he should have hugged the island down there a bit more. Yeah, reload booster, last one used for the midway. Couldn't finish him off, but there's a Lexington straight in front, which is a perfect target. Yeah, he goes for the damage con here, absolutely understandable. If the fire takes through, then he is most likely dead, but so is as well the Lexington. So that is some relief now. Still, the more dangerous carrier, the midway, is still alive and not spotted at the moment, which is of course yeah, I wouldn't say problematic because that game is pretty much won, but uh, not so satisfying since he wants to get some more damage in, I guess. So yeah, and his carriers have no place. Well, the Audacious is too far away, for example. At this stage of the game, he could be like almost here, straight behind. A good thing why carriers could also stay close to the friendly ships in such situations when there are not so many carriers alive is basically to provide AA, because they send a fighter automatically in the air and so on and so on. So yeah, that's the result screen. A bit awkward, but I think it's okay. Yeah, 212,000 damage, 51 plane kills. I mean, that's not the highest amount of plane kills that you ever saw. I'm pretty sure about that. But it just reflects how focused he was and his division in general, if I'm not mistaken. He receives only the Fireproof and Dreadnought award, but fine. No Kraken, no Confederate, but more important, he held the flank and he occupied, kept the cap. And yeah, that is definitely. And he occupied two carriers, or their division occupied two carriers for the whole game, which meant that they didn't strike the other guys. So they protected themselves with their AA, always good if you're blobbing up, kind of. And on top, they yeah, were the ones who took all the resources of the enemy carriers. So the friendly carriers could strike somewhere else because, I mean, at some point they were around there. I saw some planes of the friendly carriers, but mainly they were going for other targets, I assume. So yeah. And since dropping fighters is only possible if you strike in the area, um, unless you want to go like large, or you want to ah yeah, go large distances. I don't know. I'm missing the words right now. Yeah, that's then it's not the case, or not the best idea, because in the CB you want to strike as often as possible. That's the main goal. You're a damage dealer, or one of the main damage dealer in your lineup, and from minute one on, you want to strike. All right, and this is the end result screen. And if we count together, that are 108 planes his whole division shot down. Only 108. Holy moly, they threw everything at them. Um, Sadly, no potential damage screen, or I mean, the screenshots of the other guys would be also nice. I think it's hilarious what they threw at them. Um, Absolutely a crazy game and very, very intense. I just can imagine how it was to sit in the Jean Bart Kronstadt. I mean, that the Kronstadt survived was also really lucky, I guess. Or the Azuma. Well, Azuma, as I said, a bit overextended, could have stayed a bit angled away. Would have been, would have not killed him immediately, I think. But yeah, doesn't matter in the end. The win or the victory is the thing that counts, I guess. And yeah, that's what Dabsch's team, and in particular Dabsch's division, achieved. And yeah, shout out to you guys. That was pretty nice game. I have to admit. Yeah, actually, not much more to add. Give it a like if you liked it. I watched it today the first time. Was like, wow, that focus, and it also reflects a bit how strong two carrier games are, or how difficult to play them. They are to play. against. If they focus you, you have, I won't say no chance, but against the beta carrier, I think one of probably some of his division mates would have died earlier, or maybe himself. It's just an assumption. I'm not so experienced in carriers myself. But yeah, nevertheless, it was a great game. Thanks for sending this in, Dabsch. And yeah, as I said, guys, your viewers, uh, give it a like. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel yet, well, maybe you should consider it. I always appreciate that. Also want to emphasize that I have a 1K YouTube sub competition going on. So if you want to take part, watch the video of yesterday, and you find the requirements in there. All right, yeah, that's it. So I wish you a good day and see you next time. Bye bye.